Hi, good morning. Have you ever considered a career in speaking? So, my name is Lisa Dublin, and not only do I coach speakers and I life coach speakers, I coach speakers, I train them, but I myself am also that kind of speaker who goes out and gets paid to speak. Now, not every speaking engagement is a paid one, but for sure, I've done keynotes, guest speaking gigs, as well as being on panels, doing lunch and learns here in Edmonton, Alberta, and sometimes in the US as well virtually. There are so many different ways that you can make money as a speaker that I don't think we ever stop to consider that this gift that you have of being able to open your mouth and communicate a message that comes from deep within you can actually bring income as well. And we're going to talk about that today. If you look on the bottom right here, you'll see that I'm having a free webinar on Sunday coming. That's June 29th at 4 p.m. MST. And I'm going to present 5 simple steps to become a paid speaker. You guys, I'm a bit embarrassed, and let me tell you why. In the consultations that I do for my Find Your Fire program, which I'm leading up to, that's why I'm doing the webinar. In the consultation, I have been so excited that sometimes I tell people what those 5 steps are. And would you believe that immediately they begin to use the 5 steps and to get traction to make money? So it's almost as if I was like, oh my goodness, I need to put this behind a paywall because the 5 steps are so simple yet so powerful that people can take them and run with them right away. Those 5 steps, they will make you money if you just follow the process that I have developed, that I myself have followed, that I am teaching other people to actually do right now in the Find Your Fire program. So, how are you this morning? It's a rainy day here in Edmonton, Alberta. How is the weather by you? Please put something in the chat. But let's get started. This morning I'm going to be speaking to different kinds of people this morning. Not everybody is a keynote speaker. Not everybody is the person who's going to get on stage and proffer ideas and have like an original thought about something. So let me tell you about one of my clients who is a keynote speaker. She's not the only one. I have different kinds of clients who are crushing it in their own lanes. And so I want to honor all of the different ones and not just hold up one person, but every single person that I've coached and who has emerged as a speaker is just a heavyweight in their own right. But I want to give you the profile of the keynote speaker. It's the person who has something original to say about a topic in particular. So I have this client who's in the tourism space, and those like she is, she's in a job, like a high profile job. She gets called all the time to do keynote speeches because not just of her position, but because of how she has positioned herself as that keynote speaker. So she has original ideas about tourism, about the Caribbean space. From her, I've learned just an exquisite thought that we all share a common Caribbean sea. I say it with all the love of words and thoughts because it really is something I hadn't thought about, and most people don't. That even we kind of balkanized in the Caribbean in terms of islands pitting themselves against each other and looking at themselves just as those few thousand square miles. But the fact is that the entire world is looking at us as a block. And how good would it be if we would look at ourselves as a collective, as one whole piece, as opposed to being fragmented that way? And that's a whole jam. Oh my God, I'm so close to the camera. What is going on? Off the mute. Okay, you should be able to hear me now. Okay, I'll stop moving around. I'm using the Yeti mic this morning. But because of her original ideas, that's my point. Because of her original ideas, she is always being called upon to do keynote speeches. There are people like that. For me, I am a keynote speaker. I have original ideas about entrepreneurship. When I say I'm not going back to the office, it's because I understand that there are options and I know how to help people to find those other options because I found them for myself. When I say that entrepreneurship is that kind of practice, career, where you have to dig deep, And you've got to find the resources within you. The answers are within you. You've got to get creative. You've got to be consistent. You've got to be expectant that your efforts are going to actually yield results. And if they don't next, you find another way to make it work. I have original ideas about entrepreneurship. When I speak to entrepreneurs, I simply encourage them. I give them strategy, and I say to them, with design, desire, and just having everything in place, you can actually go out and make it as an entrepreneur. So there are those kinds of speakers. It takes time. And I think it also takes expertise in a certain field for you to become the person who goes about doing keynotes, who gets invited to do keynotes. But there is a path that you can take. If you have a book, if you have maybe assets, if you do a TED talk, you become known in that space. And then you start that career of showing your worth and people seeing you on stage, and then coming off stage and getting another gig, people contacting you to come here and come. That's how it begins. But that is not the only way that you can make money as a speaker. And this is not just about making money. This is also about making impact and making income. Because in my opinion, and the way that I have been taught, all speakers are servers. They serve. You speak, you serve. Your words, they bring life or they bring death. Your words can move people. Words are spiritual. Words are forces to be reckoned with. Words are destiny making or destiny breaking. And so, if you take on that responsibility of wanting to be a speaker, you have to understand that you will be a person of weight. Your words will carry weight. So, you have guest speakers. And when I first started my speaking career, more than 20 years ago, I began speaking. I began sending little letters out to companies saying that I am a speaker. I can do workshops and I can speak. I'd be willing to come in and to do a talk. Many of those speaking engagements, I didn't get paid. I got a fruit basket and I got a bouquet of flowers. Okay. Yep. That was it. Or sometimes it was just one or the other. Come on. All right. I think we can. Are you guys hearing me? Okay. If this is going to be doing this, I'll just stop, right? And not use this mic. In fact, you know what? Let me just change mics immediately so that it doesn't cut off anymore. I hate that. It's not well, it's not good for my audience. Okay, this is better. We just leave it there. I put this out of the way. Let's talk. I'm sure you guys can hear me maybe better now. Right. So that's how I started. Fruit basket or a bouquet of flowers. And I was fine with that because every time I spoke, people saw me, people heard me, people knew what I was able to do. And that is how I moved from one speaking gig to the next, through word of mouth and through just the exposure of being willing to get on stage and to do it for free. And sometimes I still do it for free because it's still exposure. I'm in a new space in terms of being in Edmonton, Alberta, now stepping out as speaker and coach. Yeah, I'm going to speak for free if I have to. But for most of the gigs that I do now, I get paid. So you have the guest speaking arrangement. Do you also know that there's another category of speaker who gets paid? Can I tell you about the MC or the host? When I started the Find Your Fire test group in January, I took together a group of the best speakers who I knew who were available and were perhaps willing to explore this new concept of I can get paid to communicate and to stand on stage or to do something that I love. Lo and behold, about 3 months in, one of the speakers began to really discover himself. And I was so happy to have two males in the program because I think they are as spectacular as women where speaking is concerned, and they can make a difference. So say hi if you are watching me today. I just wanted to tune in and to see like who is doing what. Let's see, Basement Chronicles is live. So yeah, it is. Let me just do that. Okay. All right. One person watching. Okay. That's fine. We will take it. You guys, you know what? Since I started doing that challenge, my followership has gone up. My viewership has gone up as well. I'm putting out the shorts as well. That is like skyrocketing the views on my Basement Chronicles channel. It really is true. Anything you make an effort about, you really do get traction. Like, don't give up today. I know life can be very hard sometimes, but I woke up and I was like, you know what? I'm grateful today for everything God has given me. I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful. It might not be what I want it to be right now, but thank God I have another day to kind of make it work. And, the kids start vacation time today. So, all the more reason for me to just double down, work early in the morning. By the time they wake up, I can do something with them. That's the plan, that kind of thing. So, don't give up today. Anything that you do, you are going to get traction. Don't give up. Anyway, I was telling you about my student. Halfway through, because in the Find Your Fire program that I'm launching in August, but come to the seminar on Sunday. I'll tell you all about how the five powerful steps, and I will also tell you about Find Your Fire. But here's the thing. Halfway through, he discovered that one, he had traction in emceeing, hosting events. That's what he'd been doing even while he was, emerging as a speaker. So I challenged them to go out and by the end of the summer to at least get 10 speaking gigs under their belts, all of my students. They took up the challenge. Oh my gosh, they took up the challenge, you guys, in such a powerful way. He went out and he found that because he already had traction in that area, that he was able to get more emceeing gigs and get paid for them. He just hosted a men's conference just the other day and got the pictures, the video, all of the things he did. And so think of it, there are people who are making a living by being the consummate host. I can think of one right now who I found emerged during the pandemic, and that is Dr. Terry Carell Reed. Check her out on actually, let me put her name in. No, go check her out. She has a pod. She's Jamaican and she's an international host. She makes a whole the girl has made a career out of hosting. She's booked solid into years. She's booked solid. Her wait list is like a year or two, that deep. My goodness. That could be you if you take it seriously. And when you realize what she does, she's crafted a whole narrative around hosting, around emceeing. So there's a story of she has her family story. There's a story of the airport stories. There's a story of the clothes because she's gorgeous. She's just a wonderful looking woman as well. And so, is that you today? Are you the person who perhaps you love emceeing or hosting? You can get paid for it. The thing with speaking, we don't stop to frame it. There's my dog who says that he's hungry, but it's not breakfast time yet. That's set in the corner there, right? Never too far away from me, I should add. Anywho, so we don't frame those categories as viable, worthwhile, valid. Anything can be made valid if you take it seriously. Do you know that? Like before the pandemic, how many of us validated online learning? Not many of us. No. Everybody was like face to face, or else it doesn't even matter. It doesn't count. Then came the pandemic. Everybody had to go home. Everybody had to learn online. Everybody had to do courses and do work online. And all of a sudden, you realize that it worked. That yes, with some tweaks, etc., but it worked for the most part. And so now it's a thing that you just work remotely. Okay? That's why I'm here today. It's the same thing with speaking. When you decide to take yourself seriously as a speaker, opportunities will open up for you and you will begin to make both impact and income. That's how it works. So, I was saying that, so we have the guest speaker, we have the keynote speaker, we have the MC or the host. Another kind of person is that person who is the moderator, the panelist. Those kinds of people as well make their living going from conference to conference, being the consummate host. By the way, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel right now. I would love if you could do that. Like, subscribe, and share. Please like, please subscribe, please share. So you have the conference host, you have those people who they are known as moderators. They know how to mix things up, how to sum up what one speaker said, bounce it off what the other person says, ask the appropriate questions, bring in the audience. They are consummate people like that. You know another kind of person? I want to speak now to the entrepreneurs. the entrepreneurs, coaches, even accountants, even what if you have a business, there's another way to craft your a speaking life. So not only does it inform and elevate your main core business, but it also provides you with another stream of income that adds to your business model. Are you ready for this one? Consider, for example, I want to use, because I have a good friend of mine who's actually going to be in the program, and she is a financial, like, doctor, financial doctor. She calls it. I call her. She's the kind of person who will help you to put your finances in order, bookkeeping, that kind of thing. She's very good at it. Not only is she good with the technical parts of this career, but she also has a book that where she teaches you proper bookkeeping practices. She also has great ideas on how to save money and how to run a business in a prosperous way where the money is concerned. Guess what? Even while she calls herself a financial doctor, this person is also able to do talks, go out into schools, businesses, go out into entrepreneurial organizations, the non-profits and the for-profit ones, and speak about how to do bookkeeping right and show people how to do it on an everyday basis. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes, you can do all of those things. So she adds to the business model by adding speaking, $250 per speaking gig for an hour's talk, or do a workshop for a morning 9 to 12, and you can get $500 if while you're just starting. That's what I'm saying. And you cap it at 10 to 12 participants, and you bring that in. You can do that. Yes, it's possible. Yes, it's possible. So that's it. So you take the thing that you're making business in, and you make it a topic. So for example, I am a speaker. I train speakers. I also go about doing speak with confidence workshops in companies, in schools, in not for profits. I go about, I take that topic and I turn it into retreats. I turn it into workshops. I turn it into 1 hour talks for students, etc. See how that works? And so I will always be able to, like, fit myself into a topic that is related to speaking. That's how you do it. And then even while I'm doing that, I myself am becoming and I'm perpetuating the identity and the practice of being a speaker. So I want to speak to the entrepreneurs. So another one too is coaching for me. I'm a coach. My first certification was as a life coach. And you know what? Like, for me, the uniqueness of my business model is that I want to life coach speakers, because I realize a lot of speakers, the reason that they are hesitant to step out on stage in their full power is because of the hidden blocks, holding on to things that happened years ago, holding on to guilt, holding on to shame, holding on to embarrassment, being afraid of the littlest things, holding on to self-consciousness in such a way that it's debilitating. All of these things I work through when they come into any of the programs that I do, because I understand if you can really have a nice clean foundation as a speaker, a nice, like, secure foundation, you can get up and speak. I've had people who want to speak about certain topics, but they have not dealt with it within them. They haven't processed the emotions. And so we go back to the drawing board. Sometimes people like that need not a coach, they need a therapist. Because whereas a coach takes you from good to great, a therapist goes right back into your past with you and helps you to fix what was broken then. That's how it works. So sometimes what you need is a therapist and not a coach. So I actually, one of my most successful clients, while she worked along with me, she had a therapist as well. And so I was helping her to get her business off of the ground, helping her to just deal with her self-esteem issues and so on. At the same time, her therapist was helping her to work through some difficult areas in her life that, they were past, they were done, but they were impinging and influencing who she had become now. See how that works? So if you are a coach, if you are any business person, Any business person can become a public speaker who's making money as well from your practice. You have endless stories. It's a matter of being creative with how you take the raw material of your business and you turn it into a speaking gig, a retreat, a workshop, that kind of thing for people. But you have to be willing to step out. And we teach all of these things in the program, in my Find Your Fire program. The last kind of speaker who I want to talk about today in the time that we have, is going to be short, I guess, today. The last kind of speaker is the streaming storyteller. And even in my last cohort for Speak with Confidence, one of our, like, she has just come out. One of our speakers graduated from the program Speak with Confidence. And she's now enjoying Instagram and going live on Instagram. Like, it's amazing to see her step out in her power and her confidence and to understand that, you know what? No, this is my space. It's free. I can do it. Okay, I don't care who joins me or whatever. I'm stepping out, and that's exactly what she's doing. She's chosen IG as her medium. She's going to reach people, and also she understands, because this person is, she's writing a book and, going to be publishing soon. And she understands that there's a no like trust factor. Another reason that you want to step out if you are a business person, an entrepreneur, or a business person, is that there's a no plus like plus trust factor, that people will buy from you when they know you, they like you, and they trust you. And let me see if I find that quote from one of my favorites. Let me see if I find one of those quotes from one of my favorites. There's a quote about how to build a brand and how to become known and expensive in a space. Because if you are not known, nobody be like, who are you? I don't have to pay you what you think you're worth, because you have no cred. Where are you coming from? One of the reasons that I come out so consistently is because I understand the no plus like plus trust factor. I understand, okay, if you want to be, there's a verse that says, not a verse, a proverb, he who has a business must learn to smile. No. It's very true. You have to consistently give value for people to know that you are valuable and for them to want to patronize when you do offer something. So let me see if I find this quote from my guy, consistency, okay, right, here it is. Okay. So they somebody I admire greatly, he said there are three ways to building a brand. Okay. Creativity, consistency, and availability. Creativity, consistency, and availability. You guys, if you're listening to this morning, this is gold. This is fire. Okay. I didn't come to say that part, but I think nonetheless, let's go there. Creativity, consistency, and availability. And this guy, that this is my coach from afar, CJ. That's how he's built so many brands. He built the Eric Thomas brand that way. Then when you think of the S2S podcast, he said what they did is just repeat it every Thursday. They come out and you hear, welcome to another edition of the Secret to Success podcast. I'm your host, CJ Quinney, followed by the Bajan sensation, Carlos Quinney, what to do. Then he goes into Jamal King, the 95 millionaire. Then he goes into Dr. Eric Thomas, how you feeling, whatever. Every single week, they do the same thing over and over again. And a lot of us do not get the consistency factor. Even me, right? Like this is day 20. This is day 27. Okay. I'm supposed to be done with this 31-day challenge by now. By the 15th, I was supposed to be done. But I think the consistency kicked in a bit later. But I'm just so happy to be on the path to finish it off in 3 days or so. I'm just gonna finish, because you've got to be consistent. So creativity is in, what are you going to do that's different? How are you going to craft your message? How are you going to craft your product or service in a way that is out of the ordinary and brings in some ingeniousness that you might possess? And of course, availability. I'm available. I'm here. You can find me on a morning, at least for the next couple days, and then I'll figure it out. I think that was divinely inspired for God to say to me to do that 31-day challenge, because I think I'd lost just the zeal for going live. And I tell you, I always tell my students that going live on social media is one of the easiest ways to build your brand, one of the easiest ways to get your message out there. It's a very economical way to sell. You're selling without selling because you're top of mind. I'm sure when you think of speaking programs, you think of Speak with Confidence because you hear it all the time. Because I'm here, and it's not even a gimmick. It's what CJ said that I'm doing. It's availability, it's consistency, and it's the creativity of how I've put that program together and how I use testimonials. I use all of the things to move it forward. That's what you do. So you figure it out for yourself. And I was actually, where this message came from was the streaming storyteller. I was telling you that that is the other part of the other speaking category that can also make you money. I'm just now learning about, how to monetize YouTube, what it takes. I've bought all the courses. I have Sean Cannell's course. I have Amy Porterfield's course. I have Daniel Leslie's course. Like a lot of, I've invested a lot in the business, in being who I am, obviously, to have gotten this far. But, you know, even though you buy the courses, it takes time to get through all of them. I think you would agree with that, not so? So that's where I am right now, like going back and seeing what it is they said. How do you grow your YouTube channel? How do you grow your email list? All of the things. These are important aspects. But the streaming storyteller tells stories. The streaming storyteller is the person who's either using IG, like my client I was telling you about, my student, so using IG, using the social media platforms to reach people. Going live is one simple way to do that. If you want to build your brand and you want from the beginning when I started Basement Chronicles live, and this was during the pandemic 2020, 21, 22, thereabout, those years were like the high years for the pandemic. During all of those years, I used to go live all the time. And you know what? My Speak with Confidence program, I always sold it by telling people about it. It was never about going after ads or anything. Granted, it's a small group. So, I mean, there's no need to have ads, whatever. But I never had to buy ads or anything to tell the program. People learned about Speak with Confidence through the lives that I do and also through my email list. That's it. That's it. Free. They're both free. All I need to do, put on my little makeup, basic makeup, and show up and speak from my heart. I'm not lying. I'm speaking about things I know about, things that I have proof of, and people like that authenticity. I believe you can do the same. And that's what I teach you inside my program. Ooh, oh my goodness. All right, you guys. So I want to thank you. It's time for me to go. So I'll see you later. Do have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow. And let's take care. Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow.